Fresh venison. We're gonna make fresh venison sausage, one of my favorites, chorizo. So I've got this animal and I had it defrosting for about the last 2 days. It's just ready to be cut. It's still nice and cold, which really helps the process run a lot smoother. But it's just as simple as getting it up on its side, simply cut out 1-inch thick slices. You know what these are, right? You buy them in the supermarket. Sirloin steaks. That's a venison sirloin steak. Unfortunately, we're gonna grind this one down. At a later point in time, I'll clean these up and I'll do the front. You ever get lost or feel a little overwhelmed, just follow the bones. I mean, it's pretty simple. And now, isn't that a beautiful steak? And we did that in 10 minutes. Now, how does that compare with sending your animal off to a commercial production place? You're not even sure you're getting your own animal back, or who shot it, or how it was cared for. This animal, from the field to the table, we're in charge of. Isn't that beautiful? Steaks are still a little bit icy, which is fantastic. Okay, just finished taking all the steaks off the animal, boned it out, cut up as much of it as I could, took all the extra remnants and the bones, put them into my stock pot. I'm gonna slowly cook them down. It's a multitasking opportunity, if you know what I mean. So now we're gonna get this venison prepared, and we're taking off the sinewy outside layer because, again, this is what clogs up our sausage maker. Some fat deposits. Now, you can leave these in, but again, in my experience, this process runs a lot simpler when you take those out. 1-inch cubes. Trim off the sinew, any bloodshot meats, any of the big tendons. This is a really nice cut, as you can see. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. We're just gonna make bite-sized cubes, and you can see this meat is still slightly defrosted, which is great. Because again, we want everything cold as we're running it through the sausage maker. You know, we've got to remember that this connection and the relationship we have to these animals, it's not over when we pull the trigger or set the hook. I mean, I know that feels like the climax sometimes, but it's not. The process remains that we get this animal from field to table. And again, to me, I still think the climax is in the serving. Okay, we finished cutting that hind quarter from the venison into small 1-inch chunks. The venison is so lean that we're gonna have to have a byproduct fat come in. I prefer a pastured, which means a pork pastured, where the pig lives out in pasture, not in a kennel. It's organically fed pig, a free range pig if you would. And the fat I get is 100% fat. So this belly fat is just gonna get cut up the same as our venison. And I'm gonna use about 80% lean venison meat to 20% fat. We're just gonna add in some fat, get our fat ready, get ourselves ready to grind. Simple process, takes 2 hands. One to feed and control the grinder, and the other one to make sure that the grind comes out as it should. And we wanna make sure that the blend has an adequate amount of fat. We don't wanna have these long runs of just pure venison. So we wanna keep coordinating the fat in with the chunks of venison. So to do that, I usually do about 5 or 6 pieces of venison, and then I throw in 1 piece of fat. Let's give it a whirl. Keep it stuffing. Remember, 5, 6 pieces of meat, 1 piece of fat. Now, that was a nice long run of sausage. So I'm gonna take this, put it back in the refrigerator, because it needs to be cool again, while I get set up to put on my sausage tube and get my skins out. So I'm just gonna mix this salt in. I'm gonna mix in some of my seasonings. And the good old-fashioned way, we're just gonna work it in. Separate the grind, I can see it in there. Go ahead and add some more seasonings, add some more salt. Very important, obviously, is the formation of the knot at the end. Gentle, not too hard. Also, we want to make sure that we make a small incision in the top of it so that the air can get out. I've cleaned this tray and I've kept it well lubricated. So as the sausage starts to come out in the casing, I'm just gonna wrap it around and wrap it around and wrap it around until we get to the end of our product. And then we'll be able to go back and start doing the magical twist. This is about as much as you want to package in one package to send to the freezer. We've got a sizable roll that we can handle. It's not too long. We don't want too much. Again, you could keep running these things out for 3 or 4 feet if you want to, but they get hard to work with. Here's the trick and the fun part. You kids will really enjoy doing this. After you make sure that there's no air bubbles, because when we go to twist, the air bubbles can tend to get in the way. Pretty simple stuff. Finger length, push. The first one, twist forward. Finger length. Second one, twist the other way. Just keep rotating, just keep rotating. Next one, finger length, twist the opposite direction. Now those turned out pretty nice, didn't they? Half hour ago we had a hind corner of venison. Now we've got chorizo sausage ready to go to the pan or the bun or however somebody would like them. I really enjoy making wild game and other recipes like this. I'm Tommy LeVasseur, the Camo Gourmet.